Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you for joining us today in the class of Akhlaq. Imam Ibn Hazm rahimahullah today will discuss a few issues about the intentions of people, the wishes that they have, how they can correct them. So Imam Hazm rahimahullah, he says, I have seen most people, save the few that Allah protected, bring upon themselves misery, distress and weariness in this life. And they commit grave sins, which could lead them to the hellfire in the hereafter, and from which they collect no benefit. According to Ibn Hazm rahimahullah, most of the people, they have wrong wishes. How they do that? He explained, and he said, they do this by having wretched wishes, as wishing for exuberant prices, which lead to the ruin of people, the children and those who have no fault, or wishing the worst of calamity for those whom they hate. These are two things that many people wish. First thing, they have wretched wishes, like the exuberant prices, the high prices. Why? Maybe you work in a field where you are selling something that the people need, and in order to make more profit, you wish that people need this more. How they will need it? If there is a problem, if there is a disaster. Like the people who work in plumbing or in the tile or in anything inside the house. They wait for the hurricane to come, so they work more. Now, they only thought of themselves, how they can make more profit. They did not think of the innocent people, of the children, of women. What's their fault? Or the people who work in fixing the cars, or in any business, in any job. You could have some people like that, who have the wrong wishes. They wish for some things bad to happen to other people. What if this happened to you? Do you like it or not? As Muslims, we have to wish for our brothers what we wish for ourselves. So unfortunately, many people, they have this wish. Or, the other thing, yarhamukumullah, if they have hatred towards someone, they wish for them destruction. Now, let's say you hate someone. You hate him for an issue. Why you wish for something wrong to happen to him? Do you think that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will respond to your wish? The Muslim, the heart of the Muslim, as the Messenger ﷺ said, قَلْبُ الْمُسْلِمِ لَا يَغِلْ. He does not carry hatred. You don't have hatred, animosity in your heart towards other Muslims. So this is a wrong wish. They know for certainty, that's what the Imam says, they know for certainty that having such wretched wishes does not bring about sooner what they wish for, or what is ordained to happen. Now, even if you spend 10 hours in these evil wishes, that will not change the facts. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not wait for your wish and then He ordains something. It's already decided 40,000 years ago. So your wishes will not bring about sooner anything. Had they purified and beautified their intentions, this is what you should do. You purify and you beautify your intention. They would have brought comfort to themselves, and thus they would have been able to pay attention to what benefits them. Instead of focusing on the disasters, instead of focusing on the things that will harm people, focus on things that will benefit you. Because now, even if you did not do anything, but you are carrying wrong wishes, you are carrying hatred in your heart, and this will reflect soon or later in your actions. So you are actually harming yourself, and it will not change the facts. You will harm yourself even if you did not do anything. How? Many diseases, the reason for them is psychological, not physical. And some people don't realize that. Distress causes some diseases to happen. Why you cause distress for yourself? Because you spent lots of time wishing destruction for someone you hate. Let it go. Even if you think about him for 10 hours, for 10 days, for 10 months, that will not change the facts. Maybe he's better than you because he's not thinking of you. Move on. Instead, you should have the good wishes. You purify yourself. You pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to correct him. Maybe he is wrong. That's not an excuse to have the wrong wish, because it will not change the facts. So you will harm yourself, and you will lose one of the most valuable things in your life, your time. Instead of having these evil wishes, think about something useful, something beneficial. By doing this, by beautifying and purifying your intention, they would gain a great reward in the hereafter, without making what they want or wish for come true any later. So if you have only the good intentions, you will get the reward also from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Messenger ﷺ said, إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ. You have the good intention, you did not do it really, but you intended to do it, so you'll get the reward. So what is greater injustice than what we warned against? This is a great injustice, to wish for destruction for people, for innocent people. To ignore all the people and just think about yourself. As long as you are profiting from this thing, as long as you are making some money, then you don't care about others. This is injustice. And what is greater happiness than what we enjoyed? Even if people wronged you, even if they did things that are bad, forget about them. Think of yourself. How can you change this thing? Imagine if the Messenger ﷺ, he stopped the da'wah and he thought about Abu Lahab. What did he do to me? I have to do the same thing to him. What did Abu Jahl do to me? There will be no da'wah at all. You need to move on. The age of life. If you investigate the duration of this life, you will find it nothing but the current moment. How old are you? In another terms, that's what the Imam rahimahullah is saying. How old are you? 40 years, 20 years, 10 years, 50 years? You are nothing but this moment. This moment, that's the real life, which separates the past from the future. Because that's what you have only. You have only this current moment. Therefore, whenever you wake up every day, think about this day, these 24 hours. How can you maximize the benefit from these 24 hours? Do not say later. You don't know if you will reach later or not. Do not think of the past. It's gone already. If you think 2 years about the past, nothing will happen. You cannot even bring one day from the past. It's over. That's why he's telling you the real time, the real life is the current moment, which separates between the past and the future. The past and the future are nothing. That's what the Imam rahimahullah is telling you. The past and the future are nothing, for they don't exist. The future did not come yet, so you don't know whether it will come or not. And the past has gone. It doesn't exist anymore. So it's only the current moment. So according to Ibn Hazm rahimahullah, the real age of life is the current moment. So who is more astray than the one who trades an everlasting eternity with a period shorter than the blink of an eye? Now imagine if all what you have is this current moment, yet you wasted it in disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at the expense of something eternal in the hereafter. He tells you that's the great loss, because you traded what will be everlasting with blink of an eye. That's the current moment. That's your life. This current moment. People are wasting their time at the expense of the hereafter. Everlasting time. When a person sleeps, he exits this world and forgets all its joys and sorrows. When you sleep, can you think of your enemies anymore? Can you think of the food? I am hungry, I want to feed myself. Should he train himself to behave in the same manner while he is awake? He will attain perfect happiness. This is a practical example if you wanted to reduce or rid the worries of this life. Think of yourself as if you're sleeping, because once you sleep, if you fear the enemy, if you are sick, no matter how many difficult things you are experiencing in your life, once you sleep, you forget them all. So he's telling you, treat yourself when you are awake the same thing as if you are sleeping. This will help you rid all the sorrows and the problems you have. So this is a nice example, practical example for the people who are having difficulties in their life. Now we're moving to another issue, which is dealing with others. Imam Hazum rahimahullah says, whoever mistreats his family and neighbors is the worst among them. And whoever pays back by similar deeds those among them who mistreat him is no different from them. But the one who does not avenge their mistreatment is the master and the best among them. So Imam Hazum rahimahullah divided people to three types. One type is the worst, which mistreats his family and his neighbors. Why he is the worst? Because those are the people that you should treat them in the best manner. If people expect from you good behavior, it should be to those people, to your family and your neighbors. So if you do the opposite to your family and to your neighbors, that means you are the worst among them. Because if you are mistreating your friends, your family, your neighbors, what about your enemies? So if your family, who deserves the best treatment from you, are receiving the bad treatment, then you are the worst among them. The second type of people, the people who treat others equally. If you say a good word to me, I will say the same word to you. If you abuse me, I will abuse you. If you say an evil word, I will say an evil word. Imam Hazm rahimahullah is telling you, you are like them. Don't say, oh, they started it. Even if they started it, you paid them back with the same thing. That means you are like them. However, the one who changes their mistreatment to a good treatment, he's the best of them. And he's the master. And we have a hadith from the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said, لَيْسَ الْوَاصِلُ بِالْمُكَافِئِ. The one who joins the kinship is not the one who treats his family like they treat him. You have an aunt. She visits you and you visit her. That's not joining the kin, the Prophet ﷺ said. The Prophet ﷺ said, joining the kin is when they don't come to you and you go to them. That's joining the kin. That's the real joining of the kinship. So again, do not think that if you are doing the same thing to people, you are better than them. You're like them. If you complain about them, they are bad people, you are also the same because you're doing the same thing. You have to improve yourself. You have to be better than them. Now, we're moving to another chapter also, which is knowledge. ليس الواصل بالمكافئ. Imam Hazm rahimahullah says, if the only benefit of having knowledge were that the ignorant fear you and exalt you, and the learned love you and respect you, it would be sufficient cause for seeking knowledge. Now, what are the advantages of seeking knowledge? A lot. Pleasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, elevating your rank in paradise, having better life in this life. Many things. However, Imam Hazm rahimahullah listed to you only few things that should be enough for you. He told you, if the only benefit of knowledge is that the ignorant fears you, it should be enough, it should be sufficient. Why? Because you will avoid their ignorance. The ignorant fears you because he knows that you know the truth. He is ignorant, but you're not. By gaining knowledge, you are not ignorant anymore. So the ignorant will fear you. And the learned one loves you. The good people, they love you. This should be enough for you. This should be enough. What about then all the other benefits in this life and in the hereafter? And there are many, as I told you. But Ibn Hazm rahimahullah only gave you two things. Should be sufficient for you to pursue the knowledge and seek the knowledge for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if the only detriment of being ignorant were that the ignorant would envy the learned and be content with the company of the ignorant, it would be sufficient cause to escape from ignorance. So he's telling you, on the other hand, if you attain by ignorance the company of ignorant people, this should be enough for you to stay away from ignorance and to seek the knowledge. If that's the only thing you will get, this should be enough for you to avoid being ignorant. What about then the other detriments in this life and in the hereafter? Of course, again, there are many disadvantages of being ignorant. You will lose lots of time. You will lose lots of deeds. You think that you're doing good, but maybe it's not accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's not approved because you did it the wrong way. You think you're doing a good thing and you don't know what you're doing. You want to do a ibadah and you spend 2 hours because you don't have the knowledge. While if you have the knowledge, it will take from you only 10 minutes. So you're wasting your time. There are many disadvantages for ignorance. But Imam Hazm rahimahullah, he mentioned only two things should be sufficient for you to avoid falling in this thing. If the only benefit of having and seeking knowledge were that the seeker would be too involved in his learning to be stressed by pressing worries, to be troubled by empty hopes, and to be burdened by painful thoughts, it would be a great enticement to seek knowledge. This is another thing. These are more advantages of seeking knowledge. You will be busy with the knowledge, and this will save you from the worries of this life. People who don't seek the knowledge, they are wasting their time thinking about their worries. How can I provide for my family? Where I'm going to get the money from? Look at this person, what did he do? This man harmed me, this man abused me, this man wronged me. And you keep on thinking of wrong things. And this will cause distress. While when you have the knowledge, if a man came to you and he told you, please, I'm busy. Why? You are busy, you are seeking knowledge. Let's go, we have something. And they're wasting their time. You don't have time for that. People spend hours and hours online, on the forums, chat rooms, saying wrong things or useless things. You don't have time for that. You're busy with the knowledge. Imam Hazm rahimahullah is telling you, this should be enough for you to seek the knowledge. And we have not enumerated the many other virtues one attained by seeking knowledge. So again, there are many advantages for seeking knowledge. The first session of this semester, I mentioned few things, because there are lots of things. You could list at least 10 things that you will get by seeking the knowledge. The least of these virtues are the ones we mentioned. So he only mentioned the least of them. He did not mention the highest of them. The Prophet ﷺ said, whoever took a path for knowledge, seeking knowledge, Allah will make it easy for him, the path to paradise. There are lots of advantages. The angels, the fish, the whales in the oceans, they seek forgiveness and ask forgiveness for you. There are many advantages for seeking knowledge. The weakest of the kings distress themselves by the miseries we listed above. So they try to escape these miseries by playing chess and backgammon, by drinking alcohol and listening to songs, Now he's comparing the kings at his time. What do? Because again, they don't have nothing to do. They have ministers, they have deputies that they do the job for them, and they have nothing to do. So they are sitting, wasting their time, playing chess, wasting their time, drinking alcohol, listening to songs, and other matters that bring harm in this life and in the hereafter. They are disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They are causing diseases to themselves and no benefit at all. So try to compare yourself to the kings. You are better than them. That's why one of the pious predecessors, he said, if the kings knew the joy that we are having, they would fight us to take it from us. Because the real joy is not to have lots of money, not to know what's the purpose of your life. Yes, it may help you for some time, but then after that, what are you doing? You're wasting your time. You want to play a game. You played it for 1 hour, 2 hours, and then what? What do you have to do? There is a purpose for your life. Allah created you for a reason. So do not waste your time. If the learned ponders how the hours he spent learning saved him from the humiliation of being dominated by the ignorant and from the distress of having no access to the facts, and how those hours provided him with the joy of discovering that which is hidden from others, he would excel in praising Allah, the Exalted, full of majesty. Again, this is another advantage for seeking knowledge. Look how many things you got by gaining the knowledge. Sometimes people spend hours or days or even months in debates. Is this the correct opinion or that's the correct opinion? Which should we do? Which opinion should we follow? Why they do that? They don't have the knowledge. Imagine if you have the knowledge. This will save you all that time. You come to the masjid to pray and you find two people arguing about a matter that you know the answer for it. You pray and you finish the prayer and they still arguing about it. You leave. You come back again another time and they still arguing about it. Why? They don't have the knowledge. They don't know. While you were blessed with the knowledge. So once you ponder and you think about the blessings that you got by having the knowledge, you should praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala more and more. People are humiliated. Now, the doctors are very well paid. Why? Because people need treatment. They go there and they ask for medicine. But how many times do you need the doctor? The average person, maybe he goes to the doctor twice a year, more or less, unless he has a disease. So you don't really need them that much. While in every day, there are many things that you need to know about them. Imagine how much time you could save by having this knowledge. It saves you from humiliation. Sulaiman ibn Abdul Aziz, the king, after Al-Walid ibn Abdul Malik, his brother Sulaiman ibn Abdul Malik ibn Abdul Aziz, when he came to Mecca, he went to Ata. Ata was a slave, but he had the knowledge. So the king became the student of the slave, because the slave had the knowledge. When you have the knowledge, you are the real king. Because you could survive without those people, but they will need you one day. So again, you have to appreciate the knowledge. And would be more pleased with the knowledge he has and would deepen his desire to increase his knowledge. When you praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala after you think of what you got, that's why many scholars, like Imam Shafi'i rahimahullah, he said, it's more beloved to me, it's more lovelier to me to spend time solving an issue, finding the answer for it, than having a new wife, a beautiful wife. That was more beloved for him. Why? Because there is joy in seeking the knowledge. You know what are the benefits that you will get when you have this knowledge. Now, another thing deals with priorities. Whoever bases himself with seeking the less significant sciences and forsakes the higher ones, and he is able to learn them, is like a farmer who plants that which has no value and leaves out that which is valuable. Now, this is the case with many people. Many people, you ask them what you are doing, I am learning. And this may be correct. They are learning. But is this the best they could do? Or they could learn something better. If you're able to learn something better, and you're wasting your time in learning something less significant, then you are like the farmer who plants something that has no value, while he is able to plant something has value, and he leaves it. Imagine if you have two plants, one of them, if you sold it, you'll get $100, and the other one, if you sold it, you'll get $10 only. And people always see you planting the $10 plant. And they ask you, why you're doing this? I want to get money. Well, why don't you go for that one, which will bring you more money? So again, what are your priorities? Spend your time in the more valuable things. Because many times people tell you, I'm seeking knowledge or I'm learning something, which is true, but is that the best you could do? Or you could pursue something better. The one who is miserly with his knowledge is worse than the one who is miserly with his money. You have two people. One has the knowledge and one has the money. The one who has the money, he doesn't want to give it because we love money. The one who has knowledge, the same thing. He doesn't want to give the knowledge. Imam Hazum rahimahullah is telling you, the one who has the knowledge is worse than the one who has the money, if he doesn't want to give it. Why? Because the one who is miserly with his money fears that he might lose his wealth by spending it. Now you have $10,000. Someone asked you to give him $1,000. You gave it to him. How much money left? 9,000. So you lost 1,000. That's why people don't like to spend. Once you spend, you lose this money. But the one who is miserly with his knowledge fears no loss of knowledge by teaching it. Someone memorized the entire Quran, and he was teaching Surah Al-Baqarah. After he taught it, did he lose it? Did he lose it? No. He did not lose it, right? So why don't you give it? That's why you are worse if you refuse to give it. Because the one with the knowledge, he doesn't lose anything. That's why it should not be, you should not deprive people from your knowledge. The one who has the money, you could understand his situation, why he doesn't give the money, because he may lose it. But the one who has the knowledge, he doesn't lose it by giving it. That's why he is worse. The one who has the knowledge and he doesn't give it to people, he is worse than the one who has the money and he doesn't give it. He doesn't depart from his knowledge by giving it to others. Actually, if you want to keep your knowledge, you have to give it to others. You remember the knowledge by teaching others, by implementing knowledge. Only if you get the knowledge for yourself only, what did you do for others? You did not teach them. You did not benefit them. It's only for yourself. However, you should give it to others. Yes? Yes, that's true. It improves your memory. Don't think if you memorize more, just like the hard disk, you're putting more data than you're losing space. It's the opposite. The brain works the opposite way, the memory. The more you put, the bigger you have. Now we move to some wills from the Imam rahimahullah. The best of knowledge is what brings you closer to your Creator. Now we said you should busy yourself with the best knowledge. Now some people, they spend hours and hours learning something, and after they learn it, okay, what's the advantage of learning it? Nothing. Neither in this life nor in the hereafter. So why you spent your time? Why you wasted your time? You want to know if this knowledge is valuable or not? Is it going to bring you close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? If it is, then it is a good knowledge. You have to seek it. That's why Ibn Hazm rahimahullah is telling you the best of knowledge is what brings you closer to your Creator and what helps you attain His satisfaction. If it pleases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then that's the best knowledge. In wealth, condition, and health, compare yourself to those who are less fortunate than you are. That's what he's telling you. Unfortunately, most of the people, they are doing the other way. In wealth, condition, and health, compare yourself to those who are less than you.